shit. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar. We are talking about 7 different crypto mining stocks today. We're going to go over BTBT, Cypher, Clean Spark Marathon, IREN, Riot, and Wolf at the request of Navi, Cal, Vok, and Nate Thorpe. We're doing this for you guys and everybody watching, of course. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. Let's get going. Let's not waste too much time. That vodka's good, man. Let's see here. So $3.18 right now is BTBT. Weekly RSI looking fierce, man. I love that you're getting overbought and you're not getting oversold. I love it. I love that you are holding your higher lows. It looks good. The trajectory definitely looks bullish. I would say that this next attempt up will probably get you overbought, and I think not only that, but it'll break you out of this range, right? Each of these overbought zones ties into a high that's like within this little range here, right? I think this next overbought run that you're going to get right up in this overbought zone here on the RSI, I think it's going to lead to a breakout to the upside. And I was looking at this and thinking, you know, on the way down, if we look at this like this, right, from the low to the high, you consolidated here between the 382 and the 236. It's pretty common to go to your 382, back up to your 236, and then down to your 61869 zone. Come back up to your 382 and then go down. But you didn't do that last part, right? You just actually tore right through and went to your 786, 886 zone, right? So what you did was low to high, you consolidated here and then tore right through your 61869s that didn't even really stop there. I mean, I guess you stopped there on a monthly basis. To be fair, you did stop there for a few months, but you broke below the 618. It's not common to just do this, right? Normally, this consolidation in here, it would be like in here or like between the 382 and the 618. It wouldn't be in this zone. Like, to me, this just looks like you're tearing straight through it, okay? And I want to address, this is where you ended your move down. This is where you consolidated, okay? Between the 382 and the 236 right there, okay? And that's that move. If we take, so that's from the low to the high on that fib. However, if we take this high to this low, we are now seeing an area that's larger than this, right? Larger. And we're consolidating not at the 382, 236 area, but the 382.5 area, which I do think is more positively charged. If it was like the negative aspect, right? If you're going from the low to the high, if this consolidation range here wasn't at the 236 to 382, but at the 382 to 0.5, I would say that's more negatively charged to the downside too. Like, you're going to have more momentum to go to the downside because you're closer. Ultimately, if you were consolidating here, you'd be closer to this very significant level, the 618, which means that you'd have more momentum to break through it on the first attempt, if that makes any sense. So going off of that same kind of logic, you're very close to the 618 here. I think when it comes time to breaking out, you won't stop here. Normally, I would expect you stop here. Okay, normally I would. And maybe you do. You know, it's 681 to 917. That's an area that maybe you should consider. But 786, 886 zone, you might just tear straight up through there. You did it last time. Why not this time? You do have areas of resistance up here, right? Both back here, you have areas of resistance around the 786, areas of resistance here, and then this little wick right here, also right at the 886. Areas of resistance prior to this area here. And you've done this exact move going right through your 61869 to your 786, 886. But remember, it looks like a straight line in this monthly aspect, but there was some stagnation, right? It might look like a straight line when you zoom out, but you'll feel it day to day. Sometimes it'll feel boring, it'll feel volatile, and sometimes it will just feel like a straight line up. But ultimately, I think this next move, right, is probably going to take you to $13.63 to $20.61. You're at $3.18 now. When will this happen? I'm not certain. I do believe you'll break out. You'll probably be above $5, if not breaking out of this whole zone by the end of this month of October. As far as when you get here, I don't know. It could be the end of this year. It could be within the first quarter of next year. I don't think it'd be later than that, but sometime soon, relatively speaking. But I don't have an exact precise estimate on that. It very well could be the end of the year, but it could take longer too. So don't be sad if it does. And also, you know, don't wait on it too long, because it is going to start moving up soon, man. But that's BTBT. I spent a lot of time on that. Let's move on. Cypher is the next one. I don't know what that was. Cypher. From a high to a low. Monthly RSI, by the way, is looking good. Cypher is above its 618. Nice. Not really respecting it. Disrespecting that 61869 area. That's okay. Holding support on your 123. Sloping up. Looking bullish as well. Weekly RSI. Not looking the best, I'm going to be fair, but from where you are now, I would expect you to move up. I'd really like to see Cypher get out of this zone, man. Like get a push like this, but keep going. Don't just stop. Because if it's just another like slightly higher high and then you come lower again like that, I don't know, that wouldn't, it would make me wonder how high up this thing will go by the end of this cycle, right? Because it's like now's the time to start showing your strength, I think. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. From a high to a low, you're at your 382. Oh, cool. You're doing something very, very, very normal, right? Going from your 382 to your 236. Next zone is definitely the 61869, 525 to 568. With how much respect you're showing, I would expect you stop there. You probably come back down, find support on your 0.5, and then move up. If not, down to your 382. But resistance at 525 to 568, you're at $4 now. That's what I'm expecting, right? Over the coming days, over the coming weeks. It could be by the end of this week you're up here. Who knows, man? In 2 days you could be up here. 2 days later you might be down here, and then next week we're looking to move up again. But more or less, I think this is the path we're on, right? We've started this much. We're going to do this much now. Then we're going to come back, find support, and then we're going to go up here, right? And then maybe something like that. We're on a path up right now, and it's going to look something like this. That's my thoughts. But ultimately, the next stop is 525 to 568. That's Cypher. Clean Spark. Oh, Navi, I'm so sorry. Specifically, you asked by the end of November and the end of December, so I didn't even give you what you wanted on the first one. BT here. End of November. See, man, I can't. I actually tried. I already tried and I forgot about it. But I'm going to be honest here. I don't know, right? I told you. I actually did tell you without even meaning to tell you. But this could be by the end of the year. It might not be. It's hard to say. By the end of November, Navi, what I can say I'm confident in is that we'll be above 681. I think that we'll be above 681 by the end of November. Yeah, I think so. By the end of the year, I mean, we genuinely could be at 1360. We could be at 20. We might still be around $9. It's very hard to say. By the end of November, I'm very confident you'll be above here. By the end of the year, I'm not as confident. I would say somewhere near $13, but whether you're above it or below it, I'm not confident. I want to say by the end of the year you're in the zone. I want to be bullish as hell, right? I want to say it's going to happen fast, but just because I want to doesn't mean that's what I should say. What if it comes out in April that you're up here? Like it's really hard to say. So I hope that helps. That's not too helpful, but that's just my genuine, honest opinion. Let's talk about Cypher again, right, and give you that same answer. Not the same answer, hopefully. Okay, I thought I heard something, but it's just my neighbors. High to low. And maybe high to low here. Okay, so Navi, you want to know November, December. I would say, right, we're looking at this on a weekly basis, looking at this on a daily basis, the pace you're going, right, maybe. End of November, damn, bro, it's hard to say, too, actually. I don't know. I really don't know. Timing is the hardest thing to get. I think by the end of this month, man, by the end of October, you could very well be above 631, 705. So end of November, I'm going to go extensions. 1078 to 1579. That's where I think you'll be. 1078 to 1579, somewhere in that area, okay, by the end of November. By the end of the year, I don't know. I don't feel as confident, right? I would say the same range. End of November, lower limits of this range. End of the year, upper limits of this range. That's the best guess that I could give. Yeah, if that helps, if that makes sense. And I'm sorry, timing's not the easiest thing to get. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it isn't. Clean Spark. What I do know is actually on both of those charts, BT and Cypher, their Novembers and Decembers tend to correspond with the direction that they're heading in. So like if you're in a bear market, the Novembers and Decembers tend to be bad. If you're in a bull market, they tend to be good. We're in a bull market, so expecting them to be good. I just don't know where they'll be. Clean Spark. Clean Spark at the request of Cal. From a relative high there, last cycle's high to the relative cycle low that we had here. You went all the way up to your 786. Stair-stepping along the way, doing very, I think, constructive stuff on your fibs. It's definitely not ideal to get above your 618 and then come back below it, but you're still showing respect, still looking constructive overall on your fibs. So I would expect the next area that you go to at a minimum would be the 886, which is all the way up at $30. But oftentimes you can see here whenever you go to each level, right, like your 236, right, you actually stopped right at it this time, to be fair, but the next time you went just a little bit above it. Your 382, you went just a little bit above it. The 618, you went just a little bit above it. The 786, you went just a little bit above it. So maybe you go just a little bit above the 886. And if we take the relative high to the relative low here, come on now, that is like right at your 1272. I am expecting the 1618 to come into play, right? I think that's going to happen because that's what you've done. But I'm a little bit more convinced now than I was before that you could stop at 33.55. And a reason for this, a reason that I like that also, that I've like kind of come to grips with, okay, that $33 area is for the longest time, that's where the expectation was. From this high to this low, for a long time, 1618 is at 35.60. That was the area we were looking at, right? Now, because of the low here that we have, now the 1618 is all the way up here, but that 1272, it still makes sense right there. And then based off of this overall fib, again, the 886 being right here, going just above it, that kind of makes sense to me. So one way or another, I do believe we're moving up above $30. Do we move up above $40, even above $50? That remains to be seen, but certainly up out of this by the end of the year. I'm not 100% sure. By the end of the year, I definitely expect that we're back up to the upper limits of this area, but will we be back up here? I'm hoping so. I have some call options open for, I think it's $30 clean spark on like the 3rd week of December, or maybe it's the 2nd to last week, which might be the same thing. Maybe it's the last week. I can't remember. I definitely could see that happening. When clean spark moves up, it likes to do it fast, so we really could be up at this $30, $40, $50 area by the end of the year, but it's hard to say. Certainly by the end of this move, I think that's where we're going to be. But is it going to look like this, right? And we're going to top off like that. Is it going to look like this? And then we're going to top off over here. Like, does it take more time, right? This is the line that's like by the end of the year right here. So before the end of the year, after the end of the year, I don't know. But definitely up is what I'm expecting. The weekly RSI looking good. You've got higher lows in the price, lower lows in your RSI. That is hidden bullish divergence, which tends to lead to a continuation of trend, right? We've got higher lows and higher highs, so continuation would mean higher low. What we're looking for is a higher high. The higher high could be, again, around $30 to $50. You're at 910 right now. Daily aspect. Daily RSI is looking constructive, overall neutral, but as is your price action, looking neutral. Relative high to relative low here. I would expect to move, hopefully this week, up to around 1150, maybe higher. Maybe $12. Maybe we could even move up above $14, but that remains to be seen this week at least, right? Certainly by the end of this month, I would expect by the end of this month we're back in this zone here, okay? Whether at the low of this zone, we're at the high of this zone, we're in the middle, I don't know, right? Well, maybe we do all of it, but in that zone, I expect we're going up by the end of this month for clean spark, okay? Marathon here, relative high to low. And I'm not taking these lows because they're like fake out lows, right? I feel like for this consolidation phase, that high to low stands. And you're holding the 069 here. You're showing respect on the 236. You've shown respect back here. I'm going to go with it. I think your next move up is going to be relative to this area. You're going to break out, probably get above the 382. The 382 is at 1982. I think you'll probably even get above $20, right? Maybe even above 21. I think you'll consolidate, move up here, consolidate, and continue to move higher, okay? Ultimately, yes, I think Marathon's got a lot higher price targets in mind, $43.28, $58, stuff like that. You're at $15.99 now, and even beyond that could be on the table. By the end of the year, yeah, I could see that. That's enough time. I feel like 43 to 58 by the end of the year for Marathon could be a thing. If not higher, if not genuinely higher, but certainly I expect to break out of this range by the end of the year. As far as by the end of this month of October, I don't know. Probably the same thing as clean spark, right? Probably like up around the highs, prior highs, right? Somewhere in this zone is where you're probably going to be, is what I would think by the end of this month. 26 to like $31, something like that. But we'll see. You're at $16 now. That's Marathon. Let's move on. Actually, I want to look at the daily RSI real quick. Yeah, the daily's neutral. Price action's neutral too, but whatever. Weekly RSI looks bullish. Neutral right now, but bullish overall. Marathon. Iron is the next one. Iris Energy. Limited. It's limited. They've limited the amount of Iris Energy they have, okay? It's limited. It's not unlimited, Okay, Iris Energy is a finite thing. Very bullish, very dominant looking weekly RSI. It looks stupendous. Very dominant trend as well. Absolutely right. Higher lows, higher highs. Nice channel up here. Very volatile, but still bullish. Absolutely, no doubt about it. It's bullish. I would expect nothing less than a higher high to come from this, right? And if we look at what we've done so far, you take, maybe it'd be better. Let's see. Maybe we take this high to this low here. You went up to your 1414 area there. That's your next top. You take this high to this low here. I'm just trying to take discernible highs and lows, right? That one's less discernible, but on your way up, that would have been a discernible high, relative to this consolidation phase here. So that high to low, you didn't get your 1272, but on this next move, you did top that 1618, and you actually pulled back to a very common area after doing this. So this could be a good fib to go off of. And that kind of makes sense too, because it's like the last shoulder of this, like, it almost looks like an inverse head and shoulders pattern right here too. It's not, but it kind of looks like it. Maybe we respect this going forward. That's good to see this, actually, this respect right here, because that could mean you're going up to like 20.56 or $31, and that would make sense in trajectory with these highs, right? That would make sense to me. And based off of the fibs too, the 2272 to the 1886 after the 1618 to 786, 886, something like that. That tends to be the area that you would expect to see. Let's see if anything else makes sense out of that, right? So like if we take this relative high to that relative low, any respect there? Kind of, some respect. 1886 lining up with the 200 level there. Okay. What about this high? This I would expect to see more congruence. Let's see. High to low, 1272 right on the 886, 1414 right on the 200, 1618 right below the 2272. Yeah, man, I'm very confident this next move up, probably by the end of the year, Iris, you'll be above 2056 and below $31, somewhere in that box. That's where I think you're headed right now. Like, yeah, when this thing moves up, you can see it likes to do it fast, right? It takes a second to gear up, but once it's geared up and ready to go, it does so pretty fast. So looking good on the weekly, looking good, looking very good on the daily. This so far I like this daily aspect the most. If I had to, so far out of all the ones we've talked about, which is just BTBT, Cypher, Clean Spark, Marathon, and Iron, 5 out of the 7, this one looks the best, both on a weekly aspect and on a daily aspect. It looks like it does. It looks the best. And I want to be completely clear, right? Back here, I've known about Iris Energy since 2023, since before, like this time, right? Like all this time here. It was very boring, right? I was in Clean Spark. I'm still in Clean Spark, and Clean Spark was being exciting. Iron was being boring, relatively speaking, exciting at points, but then when it was really supposed to get exciting and start tearing up, it was disappointing, right? It wasn't until here, it wasn't until like this move here, in the beginning of this move, I started to see the narrative for Iris Energy that this could be the top performer of the mining stocks. I'm saying that I own 0 Iris Energy stock. I don't have any call options or anything like that, right? I haven't put any money into it, but this is something that I've been, I know I've said this time and time again, or at least a few times, a handful of times on this channel since here, that I could see this being a top performer in the crypto mining space, the crypto mining stock space, right? And the chart absolutely shows that, right? Like overall, like what it's done right now, how good it's looking, both on a weekly and a daily aspect. I really do think this could be, if not the top performer out of all the basket full of mining stocks that we have. It's going to be like a top 3. And certainly I expect big things from it on this next move up. So, again, I don't own any, not financial advice, but I've definitely flirted with the idea of buying some plenty of times. It's a good one. It definitely looks good. Riot is another one that I've also flirted with the idea of buying. I think Riot could do well. Riot, for me, it's like it's going to be a hit or a miss, right? It's either going to really do well, it's going to overperform people's expectations, or it's going to flop and it's going to be like a flop because it's not on everybody's radar. I don't know. I have this, I had more of a belief that it was going to do well back here, and it kind of flopped and disappointed me. So I'm less in the belief that it'll perform as well as I thought it would before. But I still do think it's going to perform well. 816 right now. I would compare Riot in performance probably to like Marathon or Clean Spark, right? Those 3 seem to move together. Will it perform the best out of the 3? Maybe. Will it perform good, even if it doesn't perform the best? Yes, probably. You're at 816 right now on a weekly basis. The RSI looks really good. To be fair, right now it actually looks pretty damn neutral, but getting overbought, not getting oversold, that's a testament of strength right there. Just as getting oversold but not getting overbought was a testament of weakness, right? I don't like how much time you're spending below your 50. I'd like to see you get above your 50, but that's okay, right? You're consolidating right now, probably at the bottom of your consolidation range, from a low to a high relative to this phase here. If I can get it, is that the actual low? Yes. You tipped your 618 golden ratio zone, the golden ratio itself, perfectly. If this is to be a low, what we're looking for are weekly closes above the 382, so that's at $10.07. Nice psychological level, nice area based on this price action, right? It's kind of a base where we found support time and time again, sometimes disrespecting it, but generally respected. You did find resistance back here right at this level as well, $10 being a psychological level as well. Makes sense that if we were to break above here and maintain above here, I would think that that signals that this is the low. I already believe that it's the low, but it is absolutely on the charts for what it is. It's too premature. It's too early to say that, right? You don't actually know. When you start to know when there starts to be validation is when we get above this 382. Even more so when you get above the 236, because the 236 for one, that's like very, very likely that you're not going to go below that low anymore. But second to that, you also take out this high. So then you're no longer getting lower highs, right? You're kind of breaking the trend too. So validation above $10 for me, complete validation on the charts, I'd say above like 13, 16. And even then, you never know, right? Anything can happen. But I think you're going up from here. The goal is $10 for now. Let's talk about this again whenever you're above $10. Until then, it's going to be the same analysis every time. Any move down is going to be insignificant to what you're doing on the way up. I think you're going to move up soon, and above $10, I want to see what you do when you get there. That's right. I like the daily RSI too. Riot's daily RSI looks more bullish than any of them except for Iron. Wolf. Let's see here. Wolf on a weekly aspect, very bullish RSI, bro. That is nice. Yeah, I like that. Bullish price action as well. Yes, another bullish one. I feel like Wolf, Hut, and Iron, they are their own group. And then Clean Spark, Marathon, and Riot, they seem to be like their own group, right? And there's probably others too to throw in the mix there. And it's not always that cut and dry, but I feel like that, right? And Wolf, to me, it reminds me of Iris almost, right? Boring for a while until here, boom, it started to make believers out of us all, right? We were believers back here. It just wasn't doing anything. And then boom, whenever Clean Spark and Riot and Marathon weren't doing anything, this took a step in the light, didn't it? Definitely looking good on its weekly RSI. Definitely a nice move out of this consolidation phase, this bullish wedge here. You back tested it for support at this resistance area, back tested it for support, finding good support. I like it there. Relative high to low. Went up to your 1272, found support in the 786, 886 zone. You don't normally see that after a rejection on the 1272, but the fact that you did, like, it's fine. I like that, right? That's very clean. Looks clean on your fibs as well. Looks clean on the price action. That's a nice, like, straight line of support there. What you're doing now is finding support on the 100 level. It looks constructive on the fibs. I'm going to guess that your next move is going to be not just above the 1272, but above the 1414. I think you're making your way toward the 1618, which happens to be at $10 as well. So a little bit more of an accomplishment for Wolf because it's only at $4, where Riot, I think, is at like, what's Riot at? Like $7? $8.16. But $10, I think, is your next target area, right? And by the end of the year, certainly I would expect you're there. You might even be higher. It's hard to say. I kind of think Wolf could be higher, man. You might be eyeballing this like $15 to $18 area by the end of the year. I definitely believe this next move up will be at $10, but is that your like end of the year move? It's hard to say. Daily RSI and weekly RSI looks good. You're just biding your time, bro. I really think right now, like tomorrow, you're going to move up, right? This was a low today. You moved down 8% today. But I think this is just a higher low. Like this is a low right here. You're moving up. You're moving up from here. Certainly a higher high than this. I would expect you at the 1272. When you get above this 1272, when you close 2 days above $6.01, when you close two of them above there, you don't have to open and close two. Just close two of them above there. I would say at that point it's on. Like it's on to this $10 area. Okay. So $6 actually is your next area to focus on. You're at $4 now. $6.01 your next area to focus on. Get above there. We can talk about 10-10. Until then, it's all just noise. If I had to put my money in any of these stocks in order of the top 3 that I'm the most confident in right now, I shouldn't say the most confident in. I'm the most confident out of all of these probably in Marathon, okay? And then Clean Spark. Those are like my most confident ones, okay? Absolutely. But the ones, as far as the charts go, what I'm looking at right now, the ones that grab me the most, the ones that make me want to put money in them the most, in order, the top 3 would be Iron, number 1, no doubt about it. Wolf, number 2, no doubt about it. And then the third one would be Riot, honestly. Yeah, those 3 seemed to me to have the better looking like daily RSIs, looking better in the short term than some of the other ones. Cypher and BTBT are kind of wild cards. They could really outperform because they are lower on the market cap scale, so don't let me deter you from that. But again, I just go off of confidence, right? And literally looking at the charts for what I can see, the ones that grabbed me the most today in order were Iron, Wolf, and Riot. But again, just from what I know about these stocks, and I don't know much about all of them. I know a little bit more about Clean Spark, I know a little bit more about Riot, and I know a little bit more about Marathon than I do about any of these other stocks, right? I know a little bit about all of them, but the ones that I'm most confident in are Marathon and Clean Spark, and that has something to do with the fact that I've done a little bit more research on them as well, and I am very confident. They're like the top dogs in the space right now as far as market cap goes. So I do believe they're going to do well. It's just who's going to be the top dog. That's hard to say. As of the charts, man, it looks like Iron to me right now. It looks like it could be the top dog, but that could change, man. It could be Clean Spark, it could be Marathon. It wouldn't surprise me if it was any of those 3. But anyways, rambling at this point. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content. Thank you all for being here. Let's get going, man. It's time, y'all. It's time. This is the time, okay, right now to become a preacher. Okay, and I'm not talking about Christianity. I'm not talking about Judaism. I'm not talking about whatever religion you're thinking of. I'm talking about the crypto religion, okay? This is the time to be preaching. You have friends, you have allies, you have cohorts, people who you favor, who you like. Your favorite donut lady at the donut shop, the guy, your barista whenever you go to the coffee shop, whatever. And they're always nice to you. This is the time of year to be like, hey, man, you should get into crypto. You should buy some Bitcoin. You should buy some of these stocks because things are about to rip, guys. And I know you'll sound like that crazy person, and maybe you will to like 4 or 5 people. But man, if you talk to people about it and you get at least one person involved, they will be forever grateful to you, man. Like it is. I don't know. I don't even know why I'm saying this right now because I'm like preaching to people to preach, but it's in me right now. Like I've been very preachy lately. And it's about to happen. I guess that's why I'm talking about it, right? It's like we're on the precipice of this next move up. We're at the point right now where it's a great time to buy. But soon it's going to be the time when everybody's asking, oh, should I buy it now? And it's like, no. So like it just get the word out now before it happens. Before everybody's paying attention to it here, while nobody's paying attention to it here, get the word out, man. Get people to buy this stuff. Help your friends out. Help your family out. Get people invested. Make that end of the year money, that early Christmas money, or maybe even late Christmas money. Who knows when it's going to come in, but none of this is financial advice. Not a financial advisor. I'm in my living room, and I just want to see people make money, man, right? And I think this is a good way to do it. I think the mining stocks are a great option for people who are interested in crypto, but they don't want to buy crypto, right? It's like, I compare it to, and I'm sure a lot of people compare it to this, I would assume, but like, the gold rush, where there were people who were going to mine gold, right? So they were buying all the supplies they could. There were people that made money off of mining gold, and then there were people that made money off of selling pickaxes, right? So like these guys are the pickaxes essentially, right? And I think that it's wise to be allocated in both aspects, right? And that's why I hold some miners. That's why I hold crypto too as well. But I don't know, man. I think that this stuff is is good, and I'm really rambling, so I'm gonna end it at this point, man. Hell of an ending. I'll see you guys on the next one. Got nothing else to say. Bye bye.